the Ann Arbor City Council, September 14, 2020. May our clerk please read the order and notice of call of special session.
Notice is hereby given that an electronic special session of the City of Ann Arbor City Council will be held Monday, September 14th at 6:00 p.m. for the following purpose: a resolution to address the next steps in the city administrator search.
Thank you. If you're able, please rise and join us for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Councilmember Grand, it needs to be admitted.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
to the
of the United States of America,
United States of America,
and to the republic for which
to
it
the
stands,
republic for which it
one nation,
stands, one nation, under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for
and
all.
justice for all.
Would our clerk please call the roll of council?
Councilmember Hayner,
Here.
Councilmember Bannister,
Here.
Councilmember Griswold,
Here.
Councilmember Lum,
Here.
Councilmember Grand,
Thank you, Mr. Postma, and here.
Councilmember Ackerman, absent. Mayor Taylor,
Here.
Councilmember Eaton,
Here.
Councilmember Nelson,
Here.
Councilmember Smith, absent. Councilmember Ramlawi.
Here.
We have a quorum.
If a motion please to approve the agenda, moved by Councilmember Lum, seconded by Councilmember Ramlawi. Discussion of the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The agenda is approved. DC1, resolution to address next steps in the city administrator search, moved by Councilmember Lum, seconded by Councilmember Bannister. Discussion, please, of DC1. Councilmember Lum.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We've reached the conclusion of the search process council unanimously approved at the end of June, a process that included public interviews on August 20th of the 4 finalists by 3 separate groups: staff, the community, and city council. Following those interviews, council decided on August 24th to conduct a second round of candidate presentations and Q&A. The second round provided an additional opportunity for public evaluation, and it generated additional feedback from 30 community members and 50 staff members. The process has been a robust and thorough one. Unlike after the first round, there were no comments this time around from staff or the community about not having sufficient time or opportunity to engage. Importantly, the process has accomplished its purpose. It has surfaced 2 strong, qualified candidates, 1 internal, 1 external, 1 male, 1 female. It is time to decide. I support appointing Mr. Crawford the permanent city administrator and believe there are several compelling reasons to do that. First, Tom has clearly demonstrated his effectiveness in doing the job, not once, but 3 times over a combined period of almost 2 years. He's very ably led the city. Second, Tom has broad appeal and respect. A majority in all 3 evaluator groups recommend Tom. 70% of the community members, 90% of council members, and 60% of staff. And it's especially noteworthy that 70% of the community members, arguably the most objective group, recommended Tom, with over half of them strongly recommending him. Third, council members universally respect Tom and rate him very highly. Not one council member, 0, indicated they would not recommend Tom. That, I believe, speaks volumes about Tom's professionalism, his capabilities and skill set, the fact that he treats everyone with respect, and his ability to stay above the political fray. Fourth, Tom provides stability, and his strengths, financial acumen, professionalism, objectivity, calm demeanor, respect for others, and knowledge of the community and city government are especially needed now with the COVID financial challenges and the city embarking on 2 major initiatives and investments, affordable housing and climate action. Ms. Pavlicek is a strong candidate as well, and I believe she could be an effective administrator. I appreciate her interest in the position and wish her all the best. but I'm convinced that Tom Crawford is the better choice to lead Ann Arbor city government in these uncertain and challenging times we face. I was surprised to see the couple of staff comments to the effect that Tom doesn't have experience working as a leader outside, excuse me, or outside of finance. He's had almost 2 years, 21 months to be exact, of experience working in this very position. And I think we'd all agree he's been quite effective. One staff comment I noticed on leadership that I found really telling was this one, quote, "When Howard left, Tom not only took the job, but reminded us all why we should still be excited to work here, why we should be excited about Ann Arbor," end quote. That sounds like strong leadership to me. Before making an amendment to the resolution before us, I'd like to again thank Amy Sell for the very nice job she has done in designing, managing, and implementing and leading us through this process. With that, I would like to move to amend DC 1 by moving the placeholder resolve clause in the resolution and adding 2 new resolve clauses. Ms. Boudry, if you could forward that to council and insert Tom Crawford's name in the blank. Resolved that City Council requests the Human Resources Director to offer the position of City Administrator to Tom Crawford, contingent upon completion of a successful background check, and resolved that City Council authorize Mayor Christopher Taylor, with the assistance of the City Attorney, to negotiate a proposed contract for Tom Crawford to serve as the City Administrator, with the final contract subject to approval of form by the City Attorney and approval by resolution of City Council. I'm hopeful we will all support this tonight. Thank you very much for your consideration and for listening.
Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember Eaton. Discussion of the amendment. Councilmember Nelson.
I support this amendment without reservation. This is exactly the step forward for us to have stability. And as Councilmember Lum said, it is extremely important that we move forward with somebody who can be straightforward and honest and above board and above the political fray in this position. And I would just say that I know personally how important it is to have somebody in this position who is a collaborator and treats everyone with respect equally, and just takes this job seriously. And to know that for certain going forward, to know that the person knows our community and is familiar with our values as a community, that is a huge comfort to me as we go into the times ahead of us. Thanks.
Further discussion of the amendment? Sorry, Councilmember Romali.
Thank you, Mayor Taylor, and thank you, Amy, as well as Councilmember Lum, for giving us the background on why we're here tonight. And I should have probably broke this up into a couple parts of gratitude, Amy Sell, for conducting this and guiding us through this process. It's been done professionally, and I think has the confidence and the support of everybody that was involved with it, and that's really important with the position that we're trying to fill here, that it has integrity and confidence, and that we have. And so it's a big thank you to ensuring that we have that throughout this process. And Councilmember Lum, again, for eloquently explaining the details behind this for the public and for everybody to be on the same page here as we discuss this here tonight. We're back here after council had decided to give more time for community feedback. Many people felt it was rushed and there wasn't enough time for a good decision to be made and to have all voices heard. And I think it was a wise decision by council to take that extra time, again, to give this process more credibility and validity, and the person who comes next the best chance to succeed. And We are here today to make that decision, most likely, and everybody probably has their decision made by now, most likely. And I have mine, and it was a hard decision because this is a big, important role for the city to fill. And based on the current conditions that we have and the characteristics Mr. Crawford has, I believe that would be the wisest decision for someone in my position to make and in supporting this amendment. I could elaborate, but I don't want to take too much of my colleagues' time. But I put my support behind this, and I can have further comment later.
Councilmember Griswold.
I'd like to thank everyone involved and just state for the record that while I did raise some concerns early in the process, I appreciate that some adjustments were made, my concerns were addressed, and I have complete confidence in the process and complete confidence in Tom Crawford fulfilling the role of city administrator. Thank you.
Further discussion of the amendment, Councilmember Grant.
Thank you. I want to thank Ms. Saul as a member of the admin committee. I've been able to work with her now on a couple of projects, and hope that it's certainly not the last time that she lends her expertise to the city, because we are definitely better for it. So thank you for that, and thank you for letting us continue with this process and being supportive of that, because I do think that these steps of having our final candidates lay out their vision, and particularly to be able to get so much feedback from our staff is really important as we think about how we move forward as a city, as we understand where staff's concerns are, because they are certainly the people within this organization that enable our policies to go, and who are working hard every day to deliver those critical services. So I think this information that we got was really valuable. I'm pleased to be moving this forward. I've had the opportunity to work with Mr. Crawford as an interim administrator, not once, but twice. And really do admire that in, with all the turmoil that's been caused in this past year, that he just wanted to step up time and time again to lead our city, and really believes in Ann Arbor, believes in the organization, and is one of the most profoundly kind and honest people I've ever met. And he's smart, he's excited, but he really believes in this community and in this organization. And even with all that we will give him as a body, like he wants the job, which is amazing. So I admire that, and I look forward to supporting that this evening.
Further discussion of the amendment? So first, I'd like to echo thanks that previous council members have extended to Ms. Sell and her team. It's been a delight working with her and those that work with her on first evaluations, and now on this search. So, and I'd like to echo my other colleagues who have expressed their hope that it's not the last time. So today, I'm going to be voting in favor of this amendment. I'm voting today for Tom Crawford to be our next city administrator. I believe he deserves our consensus support. I've served with Tom 3 times now as interim city administrator, twice as mayor, once as city council member, and I know that he's going to perform in this role with skill and with honor and with incredible dedication. Before we move forward, however, I think it's important that we engage some truths. And that is that that Mr. Crawford is going to be taking this position subject to challenges that he had no part of making. The fact is that his predecessor's tenure ended under circumstances that dispirited and angered members of our staff and members of our community. And as the innocent beneficiary of that termination and the resulting selection process, Mr. Crawford is going to assume leadership with the need to build relationships and build confidence and build momentum. This is, I think, simply a fact. And I just want everyone to know that I am committed to being part of that vital project, to doing everything I can with councils present and future to help him transition from the outstanding CFO that we know he is to the outstanding administrator we look for him to be, the outstanding permanent administrator we look for him to be. In addition to our commitment to improve basic services, Ann Arbor has so many exciting and necessary opportunities to enhance quality of life. In my years in working with Mr. Crawford, as CFO too, of course, but also very closely as interim, he has expressed real and earnest enthusiasm for the potential of local government, our ability to do good things. And so I am very much looking forward to hitting the ground running with him. He is a person, as others have said here, who has an earned reputation for decency, an earned reputation for caring. He knows the city, and he's eager to achieve great things for everyone in Ann Arbor, for everyone who calls Ann Arbor home. The community that we all serve, and so I'm looking forward to his service. And thank you, Councilmember Ramlawi.
Thank you, Mayor. I didn't want to miss the opportunity to thank everybody who applied for this position. Kara Pavlicek, who came back a second time and spent an enormous amount of time and energy with those questions and interviews, talking with our community and staff. A dynamite candidate, one that made this decision that much harder, and one that really deserves recognition and appreciation. And I just really wanted to thank everyone who applied, the 4 finalists, and echo what has been said about Mr. Crawford. I think the concerns that our mayor have brought up are true concerns, and I think he's to a large degree has answered that bell, has answered that call, has answered that challenge, and has been someone who's been able to unify as much as possible in these most difficult of times. And if he can get that done, then that speaks volumes. And so hopefully we can continue on with that momentum. And that's all I'll say right now. Thank you.
Further discussion, Councilmember Griswold.
I am really saddened that the mayor has used this opportunity to perpetuate what I consider opinions and not truths. I'm not going to go into detail right now, but I did put out on my website some information. I had a discussion with Howard Lazarus in November of 2019 when it became clear to me that our team was not optimal. Since then, we had a relatively smooth transition. Howard Lazarus has an excellent position now. I believe that council is in a better position, and that it's time to move on, and it's time for good Democrats to be honest and to focus on what's really important, and that is happening at the national level. We need to focus on that prize, and we need to work together and stop repeating opinions that are not necessarily true. Thank you.
Further discussion of the amendment? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The amendment is approved. Further discussion of the main motion, Councilmember Eaton.
Thank you. I'd like to offer another amendment. At the conclusion of the second resolve clause, I'd like to add the words on or before October 19th, 2020.
Second.
Is there a second? Seconded by Councilmember Lum. Councilmember Eaton, you still have the floor.
I just think that we should move this along promptly, and so I think that it's appropriate to set a goal there as far as when this will be accomplished. Thank you.
That's to the second resolve clause, was it?
At the end of the second resolve clause, yes.
Is that friendly to the body?
Yes.
Question.
I've got Councilmember Bannister, Councilmember Grand.
I just would like to hear from our city attorney if he believes that timeline is feasible, and just have for the public an understanding of what the next steps are prior to finalizing the contract.
I believe that it is feasible. If there's a delay or anything, we'll certainly let you know, but I don't, it's a contract that we've used before, and just talking with Mr. Crawford, yeah, I think I don't anticipate there being a problem.
Then it's friendly to me.
Friendly to the body. Further discussion of the main motion is amended. Councilmember Bannister.
Yes, I guess I need to respond to Mayor Taylor's comments too about Howard Lazarus' exit, leaving staff dispirited and angry. I similarly feel that that is not necessarily the truth of the situation, in more opinion, because as we would recall, Mr. Lazarus had already interviewed at 2 other city administrator positions, and the admin committee chaired by Mayor Taylor negotiated that mutual separation agreement and that settlement offer that was generously prepared for Mr. Lazarus. And so I just want to underline that is the admin committee chaired by Mayor Taylor that prepared that mutual separation agreement, and then later continues to weaponize it against the rest of us. So I just like to appreciate being able to say that myself. Thank you.
Councilmember Amlani.
Thank you, and I'll be speaking on the main motion here. I just wanted to say that, again, the feedback that we received from the community members was honest and direct. And in seeing that, it's really revealing as to the character and the qualities of Tom Crawford, and the concerns that were brought by staff were also honest and direct. And I also feel that those concerns that staff may have on Mr. Crawford's ability are issues that can be overcome and worked on and addressed. They're not issues that disqualify somebody, in my opinion here, from being able to do the job. They are issues that I think would apply to anybody really in this role. And I think he has the characteristics to address those concerns and overcome them in a very big way. I think, for us in this community right now, especially with all the uncertainty at the federal level, global level, local level, you name it, these are very challenging times, even for people who are adrenaline junkies. Mr. Crawford provides us the stability that we need, the integrity that's required, and has the trust of all the stakeholders involved. And I think those are the 3 tenets that we need the most right now. And the conditions that lie here in Ann Arbor are the conditions that I base my decisions on. And with that, I wish him the best.
Further discussion? It has been suggested that that the predecessor, well, I guess as to whether or not the termination of Mr. Crawford's predecessor was dispiriting to staff, I will merely direct council members' attention to his staff evaluations, in which he received from his direct reports, if I recollect correctly, either a 4.7 or a 4.8 out of 5. And as to the separation agreement, the terms of which were.
I apologize,
subject to-
Mayor. Can I have a call to order in this case? I apologize, but I think this is miring the issue that we have at hand to discuss.
I don't think this is out of order. This is responding directly to assertions that were made by other council members who were addressing me specifically. And I'll note, that I did not address anybody specifically or generally. I did not address anybody taking action. I was addressed in my initial statement. I was addressing a fact and condition in some members of staff and some members of the community. So I guess I'll say, I will direct council members' attention to the predecessor's final review. And I'll also direct council members' attention to the predecessor's employment contract, which provided the terms.
Again, I would call to order if we can have the city attorney or somebody come in and speak to this, because this seems quite out of order.
It's not at all.
Councilmember Hayner.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Mayor. I'll just add that I agree with what some folks have said, that we're dealing with the situation in hand today and moving forward. And, Mr. Crawford's our acting city administrator until he is appointed or accepts an offer to be our permanent or full-time city administrator, hopefully on or before October 19th. And so I consider progress the notion of moving forward. And so I'm not going to be burdening Mr. Crawford with a look backwards at what happened to his predecessor, or frankly, his many predecessors before him. I would think if you ask Mr. Crawford, the one he would be most concerned about, I will not name, but it is not Mr. Lazarus. It's someone who put our city in a terrible financial position through the generous golden parachute benefits to the employees. And so I think Mr. Crawford would have much more concern about things like that. And I won't suppose what he would speak to, but I consider him to be a progressive individual also. And that means moving forward. And so let's just put all this behind us. Unless we want to have Ms. Sell and the legal department release all of the everyone's opinions about Mr. Lazarus. In that case, we can sit here and hash it out, but I don't see the point. Let's just move forward with this, please. I think it's appropriate for the community, and it does us no good to rehash the past. Especially since the past isn't here. It's not like constant complaints about a poor zoning decision that we have to live with for 100 years. My neighbor, Mr. Lazarus' home has long since been sold. He's gone. So let's move on, please. Thank you.
Further discussion, the main motion is amended. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? It is approved. We now come to public comment general time. Public comment general time is an opportunity for members of the public to speak to council and community about matters of municipal interest. To speak at public comment general time, one need not have signed up in advance. To speak at public comment general time, please dial the numbers on your screen, 877-853-5247. That is 877-853-5247. Once you are connected, please enter the meeting ID, 915-4656-8673. That is 915-4656-8673. Once you are connected, please enter *9 to indicate that you wish to speak. Clerk will identify you by identifying the last 3 digits of your telephone number. Once it is your turn to speak, you'll have 3 minutes in which to speak, so please pay close attention to the time. Our clerk will notify you when 30 seconds are remaining and when your time is up. When your 3 minutes are up, please conclude your remarks and cede the floor. Is there anyone who'd like to speak at public comment?
Mayor, there's no one on the line, but I will just note the work session agenda was updated with the non-800 numbers. So if you want, I can read those.
Would you please?
I'm not sure whether the 800 numbers are yet working again. The other number is 213-338-8477. And again, that number's 213-338-8477.
Mayor, I'd also say there are 2 people in the attendees, and I don't know if they intend to speak. I don't.
They're waiting for the work session.
I got it. Okay.
Councilor Hayner?
Is the 800, is that like a Zoom application failure? It's a Zoom
Yes.
telco failure? Okay.
Yes.
It is.
So I don't see anyone calling in under the other number either.
Okay. If perhaps, is it during the course of our next meeting, if we could have, I'd be grateful if staff would test the toll-free number so that we could know for public comment at our work session whether that was live.
I'll do that. And like I said, the work session does have the other numbers printed on it as well.
Perfect. Thank you. Are there communications from, seeing no one, public comment is closed. Are there communications from council? We have a motion to adjourn, please. Moved by Councilmember Hayner, seconded by Councilmember Smith. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. See you all at 7 o'clock.